Hi everyone, I'm Celeste. I'm a creative writing and empowerment coach with the Arachne Project. And today I want to talk to you about 2 crystals that you can use in your creative writing practice to support your growth as a writer and to support your confidence. As you know, I am a Reiki master teacher and a tarot reader, and I love working with crystals. So a lot of my friends will ask me what crystal they can use for this or that. And of course, with clients, when I'm doing coaching or energy work, sometimes they'll want to know what kind of crystals they can use to support the work that they're doing with me. And I'm always happy to give them recommendations. So I thought I would come on here today and share 2 stones that you can work with that I think can benefit pretty much any writer. So let's get on with it. This is going to be the first one. The first one is Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye resonates with your 3rd chakra. This is great for supporting the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the seat of our personal self-esteem, confidence, and leadership. So if you are struggling with your self-esteem and your confidence, and again, you can be, this is something that I talk about with empowerment coaching all along, is that you can be the most confident person in some area of your life or multiple areas of your life, and then all of a sudden you step into like your relationships or in your writing, and all of a sudden you feel like an imposter. If you're dealing with imposter syndrome, this is a great one to work with. Don't let that word disempowerment disempower you. Owning your disempowerment and taking steps to activate, align, and get in the flow is going to help you. It's just going to help you overcome it. So part of overcoming something is the radical acceptance that you have it. So if you're struggling with your confidence, your self-esteem, and you want a crystal that's going to help you support that work that you're doing on that, I recommend Tiger's Eye. This is a little star-shaped piece because I'm a collector and I'm such a nerd for things like this. But you can work with a small tumbled stone. You can buy a larger piece if it really speaks to you and you want something powerful on your desk. But you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just buy a little tumbled stone and carry it around with you. And in fact, the smaller pieces that you can carry with you are sometimes better because then you maintain that connection with them that you want to have. I wear a Tiger's Eye bracelet that I've had for a while now. I really just love it. I wear it not every single day, but I reach for it a lot. And a bracelet is a great way to work with the solar plexus chakra because when your arm hangs or when your arms are crossed, the bracelet is lying right there next to the place that it needs to work on. So I highly recommend Tiger's Eye for supporting work on your confidence, your self-esteem, and if you're trying to develop a sense of leadership. Sometimes we get pushed into leadership roles and we don't feel ready. Again, that imposter syndrome just sort of sneaks in on you and makes you like all freeze up. And if you're working on that, this is a great stone. I highly recommend it. The second one that I'm going to recommend today is turquoise, okay? Turquoise resonates with the throat chakra. The throat chakra is the seat of your integrity. It is also where your voice comes from, and very literally your voice, but also your voice that we talk about in writing. People who are just beginning to write are developing their voice on the page, your voice as a narrator, your voice as a storyteller. And when you first start writing, that can take a while for it to shift into place. Usually we start by sounding like someone else. We'll be sounding like our favorite writer maybe, or somebody that we just finished reading. And then as we keep writing, keep practicing, what happens is our natural voice starts to come out in a story, and then it locks into place, and your voice is sort of born or discovered or uncovered, however you want to look at it. So if you're working on discovering your voice, highly recommend working with turquoise. The other thing that turquoise is really good for and working on the throat chakra is good for is those issues where you're sort of like if you're becoming a teacher, if you're thrust into the public eye and you need to suddenly speak, do you clam up or are you just able to speak naturally off the cuff? Is it a real, like, are you have a fear of public speaking? Do you freeze up in front of a camera or on a stage or in front of a classroom, or does that feel natural to you? So this can help you, this can help sort of ease that transition for you. And in terms of one more thing about the throat chakra that a lot of people don't talk about, which I'm a big fan of talking about, is the relationship between listening and speaking. So it can also help you with that balance. Hearing what is not said, hearing what is said, hearing kind of beyond words, and just generally just being a listener. So a lot of times people kind of fall in love with the sound of their own voice. And I'm not saying that you have, but I'm saying that we all know somebody who has. And sometimes we might have bad speech patterns. Like if you have communication patterns that are disruptive or that you're working on. So maybe you want to listen more and talk less. Maybe you want to stop interrupting people. Maybe you really need to learn how to say no. Maybe you need to learn how to talk about something that, is important for you to talk about, and you haven't been able to talk about that. That's when it's important to work on the throat chakra a little bit. We're not trying to fix it. We're trying to balance. As an energy worker, what we try to do is we try to get the energy moving through that energy center. And I do that by applying Reiki, and I will use the stone as it anchors the intended energy for me. It's a little hard to explain. I think that people who understand the language of crystals just sort of come to understand it. There certainly are classes that you can take, but I don't take any of those classes. Kind of just learned it on my own. I would have thought that was crazy 10 years ago, but it just sort of has resonated with me. So when you work with these two stones together, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Oh, I didn't mention, if you're going to work with turquoise, again, you can get a small tumbled stone. This is a pretty good sized chunk. One thing you want to watch out for is fake turquoise. It's not going to have the same effect. And fake turquoise is everywhere sold as turquoise. So if you want to buy turquoise, please go to like a rock shop or something in town. If you're going to buy online, make sure you're buying from somebody who sells crystals and gems and knows their stuff, and then they'll be able to tell you. Don't just go buying on Etsy or Amazon, or you might get some fake stuff, and if you don't know crystals yet, you won't know the difference. Don't worry if it's stabilized, because stabilized just means that something's been added to it. It's a legitimate stone. It's a real stone, but something's been added to it to keep it from crumbling or to make it, basically hold together. Because some rocks are very, they're crumbly, or they dissolve in water, or they just really hard to work with as a jeweler. So another way that you can work with this is to buy some earrings that will, if you're working on your hearing, but a drop earring will hang down near your throat. Another way would be to buy a necklace. So again, turquoise is not hard to find, but it's very easy to get a fake. So be careful be careful where you buy it. And especially jewelry, because there's just fake turquoise jewelry everywhere online. I've even bought some without realizing it. So when you work with these two stones together, what you're doing when you're combining stones is you're creating an alignment of these two energies. And so when I say to work with turquoise and tiger's eye, what I'm saying is that you're going to be working on leadership through your voice. You're going to be working on communication through self-esteem. These two things are intimately acquainted in the writing world. Writers they really have to be excellent communicators, and they have to be really astute at nuance in communication. And they have to be really clear on who they are. And some of us as writers, that is our journey as a writer, is to become more clear about who we are and to communicate that growth through our writing so that other people can identify with that. When we talk about telling truth in fiction, sometimes that's what we're telling. We're telling a story that we sort of relate to, or that we noticed, that we observed and were touched by. And we're talking about transformation, right? We're talking about the evolution of self. We're talking about feelings and how they affect us deeply. Self-confidence and communication, empowered communication, not just communication, empowered communication, how that helps us become a better writer. So if you enjoyed these two tips, I hope that some of you will discover Tiger's Eye and Turquoise for yourself. If you are interested in more, I do have a free download on my website. You can go to, the link will be in the description box. But if you go straight to my website, it's at arachneproject.com, and then there's a tab called the library, and it's in there. You can grab one of my free downloads from there, and there's one about crystals. We'll give you like 8 or 9 more. I think this one's on the list, and it'll give you like 8 or 9 more that you can work with as a writer. All right, so I hope you guys have a great day, and happy writing. All right, bye.